Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tearing into Christopher Nolan's absolute game changer of a film, the 2000 neo-noir thriller Memento. We're going to uncover exactly how this ultimate cinematic puzzle box masterfully manipulates both narrative structure and real-world neuroscience to literally trap us right inside the mind of its main character. It's going to be a wild ride.
To keep us from getting lost in this famously fragmented mystery, here is our agenda. First, the ultimate puzzle box. Then, decoding the timelines. Third, the science of memory. Fourth, themes of self-deception. And finally, a lasting cinematic legacy.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the ultimate puzzle box, inside the mind of Leonard Shelby. So, I want you to really think about this for a second. How much of your reality is just a constructed memory? It's kind of terrifying to think about, right? But it isn't just some late-night philosophical debate. This is the daily, waking reality for Leonard Shelby. Played brilliantly by Guy Pearce, Leonard is a former insurance investigator on a desperate, relentless quest to find the man who murdered his wife. But he's dealing with a pretty insurmountable obstacle. Following a brutal attack during his wife's murder, Leonard develops a severe medical condition known as anterograde amnesia. Basically, this is the absolute inability to form any new long-term memories following a traumatic event. So Leonard is trapped in a perpetual present. He literally cannot remember what happened 15 minutes ago. He doesn't know where he's going, and he doesn't know why he's there. So how does he function? To compensate and somehow track down a killer he only knows as John G., Leonard relies entirely on an elaborate external memory system. We're talking Polaroid photographs covered in frantic captions, scattered motel notes, and, of course, those famously sprawling informational tattoos carved right into his own skin. It is literally his only anchor to the truth.
Moving on to Section 2, decoding the timelines, black, white, and reverse. Now, what's really fascinating here is how director Christopher Nolan forces us, the audience, to experience Leonard's totally destabilizing condition firsthand. He does this through a highly innovative dual timeline structure. The film constantly alternates between objective, black and white sequences that move chronologically forward in time and subjective, full-color sequences that move reverse chronologically backward. By playing these color scenes in reverse order, Nolan effectively deletes our short-term memory too. We literally don't know what happened right before the current scene simply because we haven't seen it yet. This timeline maps out that brilliant narrative intersection. The black and white sequences begin at the story's chronological start, while the color sequences begin all the way at the narrative's end. And this whole structure builds to this incredible climax, where the forward and backward timelines finally collide right in the middle. They seamlessly meet during the iconic visual of a single Polaroid photograph developing. It's an absolute light bulb moment. Okay, Section 3, the science of memory. Clinical accuracy of Memento. While that reverse structure is definitely an incredible cinematic feat, what truly elevates this film, and honestly why we're doing an explainer on it, is its surprising clinical accuracy. Caltech neuroscientist Christoph Koch went so far as to call it the most accurate portrayal of different memory systems in popular media. You know, unlike your typical Hollywood movies where a bump on the head just magically erases a character's entire past, actual medical experts actively praised Nolan's incredibly grounded exploration of human neurobiology. And it doesn't stop there. Clinical neuropsychologist Sally Baxendale noted that Nolan's fragmented reverse sequencing does way more than just confuse the audience for entertainment. It perfectly simulates the terrifying perpetual present of the amnesic syndrome itself. Basically, the very structure of the film is a literal, functioning simulation of a real cognitive deficit. How cool is that? Which brings us to Section 4. Themes of self-deception, the lies we tell ourselves. Okay, this introduces a frankly devastating psychological concept, confabulation. It's a memory disturbance where a person fabricates, distorts, or misinterprets memories about themselves or the world. But, and here's the kicker, without the conscious intention to deceive. Experts point out that Leonard suffers heavily from this. It forces us to constantly question how much of his past is objectively real and how much is just a convenient fiction built entirely from his own wishes. And that leads right into the film's most massive revelation. Early on, we're given Leonard's famous handwritten warning about the undercover officer, Teddy. Don't believe his lies. But in the climax,
we learn the dark truth. Leonard actively chooses to lie to himself. He actually burns the photographic evidence of his already successful revenge, and he consciously creates a fake note to frame Teddy as his next John G.
As film critic Scott Tobias astutely observed, when Leonard isn't outright lying to himself, he's guilty of severe confirmation bias. He only accepts the facts that affirm his pre-cooked conclusions, and he tosses out all the rest. Leonard is literally manipulating his own external memory system to ensure that his life's quest for vengeance, and by extension his entire sense of purpose, never actually ends.
Let's look at Section 5, a lasting cinematic legacy, from indie darling to cult classic. So, fun fact, Memento was actually initially rejected by several studio executives. They were terrified the nonlinear structure was just way too confusing to attract a large audience. But independent distributor Newmarket took a massive financial risk on it. And wow, did that gamble pay off. The film went on to gross over $40 million globally. To put that into perspective, it was made on a tiny budget of just around $4.5 million. A massive win. And the success wasn't just at the box office. Boasting an incredible 93% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, critics everywhere celebrated Nolan's ability to steep this fractured, crazy narrative in intense existential dread. It created an endlessly fascinating motion picture. Its legacy was firmly cemented by some major accolades. We're talking Academy Award nominations for Best Original Screenplay and Film Editing, the Waldo Salt Screenwriting Award at Sundance, and a huge honor in 2017 when it was officially selected for the Library of Congress's National Film Registry for its profound cultural and aesthetic significance. Ultimately, the film leaves us with this chilling realization from Leonard Shelby himself. I have to believe in a world outside my own mind. I have to believe that my actions still have meaning, even if I can't remember them. It's a moment that forces us to step right out of Leonard's shoes and turn the lens inward on ourselves. Which leaves us with a truly memorable dilemma to chew on. Are your memories an objective record of the truth, or simply a story you've chosen to tell yourself just to survive? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the narrative, and I'll catch you next time.